Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Coastal Dental Care Nightlife podcast. I'm your host as always, Mark Majdandzic, joined with our fellow co-host, our football director, Mr. Jim Gelagotis. Jim, welcome back again.
Thank you.
And as always, joined with Club President and Chairman, Mr. Adrian Puljich. Adrian, welcome back.
Marcus, thank you very much. Good to be back for another week of the nightlife.
Again, 3 points in the bag, so we'll get right into that. But before we get into, we have a first for the nightlife. It's the first time we have a special guest who's actually part of the playing squad, and joining us today is hero from the weekend, supplying the ball that scored the winning goal in the weekend. 3 points, first 3 points, Mr. Kristian Brymora. Kristian, welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
Welcome, Kristian.
You got the one up on a couple of your teammates already, I think, being the first player, so that must feel good. Shout out to Tyson Martin particularly. Any thoughts on that one?
No, I'm just going to rub it in his face, so happy to be here.
Perfect. No, we're happy to have you. So let's look at the win over the weekend. Eastern Suburbs, first win of the season, 1-0. They tipped it as an own goal, but we all could see by the footage it was who else but Max Brown.
Max Brown with that Costa Rican foot of his.
Got the job done from a fantastic ball from Kristian across the box. So, we'll start with you actually, Kristian. From a playing perspective, obviously halftime, a couple of changes made, provide a lot of energy off the bench there, got the assist. Must be glad to get that first win of the season as a team.
Mate, it's always good to get it off. Break the duck and away you go. From now on, we just want to win. So, happy days for us.
Fair enough. Jimmy, 3 points. Could have been much more. Plenty of posts, flashes across the box. Could have been anything in the end.
Yeah, I thought it was a really solid performance. First up on an away trip, we controlled the game. We controlled the narrative of the whole game pretty much. We had some really, really good moments in the first half. We just couldn't put them to bed. Obviously Scott made a few substitutions at half time. Kristian came on, changed the game. New lease of life. Might ask him a question. Maybe it might be a super sub from now on instead of starting.
How many did you miss?
What do you think, Chris?
How many did I miss? One.
Yeah. Oh, one, okay.
Yeah. Second one deflected.
All right.
But no, fair call. Adrian, considering the derby the week before, to go out there and put a professional performance out and, have to wait until the timing was right to get the goal and then hold out. It's good to see the boys get the 3 points and kickstart, hopefully, a run.
Look, going to East, Heath, what do we call it?
Heath Park.
Heath Park. He's a very, is Keith Hunt
Keith.
Park, isn't
No,
it?
Keith Hunt is Musgrave.
No, Musgrave.
Heath.
We miss Musgrave. I miss Musgrave. Far out. I do miss Musgrave. I absolutely miss Musgrave.
Heath Park in East Brisbane.
Heath. Okay, good. All right. Well, by the river too, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah,
yes.
all
It
right.
is by the river.
Great views there.
Yeah.
Many a time I've looked up in exasperation of how many times we missed a goal and see the skyline.
Underneath the flight path as well.
Is it? Oh, that's important.
Chicken Jets. That's Chicken Jets.
But first win in 3 years, and at East, and last 2 years it's been a bit of a monkey on our back, and sort of like Sunny Coast Wanderers. You go up to Ballinger Park, and that too's also been a very, very doomy and gloomy ground for us.
It's easy to pull teeth without anaesthetic and get 3 points at Ballinger Park on a Sunday afternoon.
But I have to say, the link-up play was phenomenal.
Shout out Coastal Dental.
The link-up play was the link-up play was amazing, but up front we've just got to get more clinical and back ourselves a little bit more to get the job done, because I think the firepower that we have in the squad, is immense, and you could see the link-up play in both first half and second half. You can see some combinations starting to form. Players reading the game, players reading how each other play as well. Was really good to see, because East are not a bad side. That's not. They were no different, no weaker, no stronger to the East we played last year in the final rounds of the season where we lost 2-1.
Young team, by the looks of it.
Young team, but also a team that played with a lot of confidence. They took it to us, and but I think we were just too strong across the park as well, and you could tell. You put 2 or 3 of those goals away in the first half and you run away with it. And I said this 2 weeks ago, and usually I'm the new Bubba Wenger. I've made this clear, that I think goal difference is going to make a huge difference this year. There are a lot of good teams. You've had Redlands already, Moreton Bay at the top of the table two top of the table teams at the moment. I know it's only after round 2. However, they have taken maximum points. So goal difference is going to be critical going forward for a lot of the teams aspiring for the top 4.
Kristian, tell us the truth. When Max King played that ball through, fantastic run by him. Did you ever think about hitting it, or was it always going across?
No, I was always going across.
Yeah.
Always about the team.
Yeah. No.
What a rubbish answer. Absolute rubbish answer.
Can't say that. He was on his left foot. On his left foot. He was outside the box.
Perfectly
almost.
weighted though.
He's-
For Brownie.
But it was a
across.
great ball.
Great
It was a great ball.
Look, at the end of the day, like,
That's not what they were saying over text.
yeah, no.
When the substitution came through, the Christian's coming on, everyone was like, "Oh no, here we go again." No, I'm only joking.
No, but I think at the end of the day, like, it's always going to be about scoring goals, and I think from what I've seen, it's always late goals at the moment. So I think breaking teams from the very start
Is important.
You know, like you said, like if we get off in that first half, I think you go and score 5, 6. You know, and the ones in the second half aren't judged. Like, you know, the first 45 seconds for myself in the second half, you know, Maxi hits the post, there's a couple more posts, Packy over the bar. These are like, if one goes in the first half within the first 20 minutes, I think you walk away winning 4 or 5, you know, and not conceding.
And I think Jimmy, you said it last week. You know, it's moments in a game that change, and you know, Brandon's shot that hits the post here against Gold Coast United within the first 5 minutes. You know, that goes in, settles the nerves. And fills the team full of confidence.
Well, we looked back on that. Like, he hits a post over follow-up, saved off the line. If that goes in, I think we don't get 2 red cards. I don't think we, I think we run away. I think they drop their heads, you know. And I think that's what the whole year's going to be. You know, I don't think there's anyone that's, you know, no one's going to be the strong team. Like, you can tell there's a lot that are kicking off already. So I think every game's just going to be, you're just going to have to get in early and get a good start. And that's what I think we've been working on, is trying to make sure that.
I also think that defences keeps teams in the game for long periods of time.
Defences win your championships. That's the reality.
And I think if that's what our defence is going to look like this year, we're not going to concede in many goals this year.
No.
I can tell you that right now. So they look really, really strong, really organised, really disciplined. Obviously, captain came back, Austin Ludwig, and he led from the 4. I think he got into the team of the week again this week.
He did.
With Aaron Reardon as well.
With Aaron Reardon, with Lefty as well. So, listen, I thought they looked really, really strong. I actually really enjoyed watching Jaden Walker play as a 6 as well on the weekend. You know, he did well as well. He got on the ball, controlled the tempo, tried to move it, you know, tried to play forward passes as much as he could. I thought we looked actually really, really solid, you know. But
Doesn't that show you the calibre of player, Jaden Walker, who's been renowned to play?
Jaden's amazing.
To play
Mr.
a
Reliable.
left or right back to go into the 6.
I didn't know he had it.
No, he's a good player. I've known him since he was a 12-year-old kid at Lismore Comets. So it was
Shout out to Lismore Comets.
Lismore South Comets, sorry. South Lismore Comets, I think it was. Yeah. So, no, listen, he's always been a talented young player, you know, and he left early, at an early age from Lismore, and he came up and he was been at the Raw for a long, long period of time.
Forgetting the stellar season of the undefeated Galacticos of 2013 Moolumbar. See, you don't see all the
Yeah, he was. Had a great year.
As a 15, 16-year-old was unbelievable in the competition that made everyone.
Had a great year. Had a great year at Moolumbar.
Kristian,
Was that with Troy Ruffin?
correct.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, correct. A quick one for you,
Another
boys,
one
or
of my
Kristian. Obviously, we talked about the slow starts, not being able to score goals early. You're a striker. You're playing the forward positions. Obviously, Scott is a striker. Does that put any pressure for you guys in the forward line, all the options up front, to get those goals early? Because you know that Scott's always looking and going, hey, you need to bag that one?
Oh, look, I think there's a small side of that, but at the same time, you know, he's there to coach us and we're there to win games. Like, you know, yeah, you have a good laugh if you miss a shot, miss this, miss that, but at the end of the day, we're all out there to win a game. So you miss some, you got to pick yourself up and go for the next one. So, you know, goals will win us games, like you said, clean sheets will win us championships. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're all there to do a job. There's, 5, 6 of us who can play up front and we all can score goals. So it doesn't matter who scores this year. I think it's just more important about getting out there and just bagging them.
One thing, you know, for those that have followed us last year, you were just hitting that peak form and then got injured against Lions. I'm not going to talk about it much, obviously, because I know it brings up a lot of dark days for you in the injury, because you were just reaching that full potential and got cut short last year. But looking at last year, it was sort of like we were always patching up forward, didn't have many options. Now with the group of calibre of players in the squad, as you said, in that front third, it surely wants to bring out the best of every player every week, doesn't it? especially training as well.
I mean, it's like a bit of an unspoken truth, but there's a little bit of pressure on everyone. Like, as much as you love each other and stuff, you all want to play and you all want to do well. So at the end of the day, you're going to perform as well as you can. And, if your time comes off the bench like mine did, you try and make the most of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Looking at forward, well, before we go into that, let's take a look at some other results in NPL Queensland. Again, another interesting round of games. Let's go from the top. So you've got obviously our win, then Redlands beating Olympic 2-0 at home. Not a start that a lot of people predicted for Redlands or Olympic for that fact. We know Olympic obviously weren't going to be the same Olympic of old, Ben Khan's Olympic, but 0-2 to start the season. Not a good start there at Goodwin Park. Gold Coast United drawing 0-0 with Brisbane Royal Youth at home. I mean, there was a lot of chirp around the grapevine and the birds were chirping, but at the end of the day, they're only 1 point ahead of us at this point in time. You can win a derby 3-0, but backing it up is always tough. And we saw that with the 0-0 draw. Brisbane City.
I think I'd like to go on the record to say that I predicted the result. I think you were on the record as Jimmy is saying that they were going to be 2-0 leading into...
I was definitely 2-0.
Were you 2-0?
I said it was going to be very difficult because I believe in what Brisbane Royal youth team can do this year.
So they're a smoky.
They're not a smoky, they've just been there for a long time.
Didn't you tip them for relegation 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So that was that result?
But I don't think they're going to be that easy to actually beat.
Are they young or are they...
Young.
They're young.
They're young.
Young.
But they've been together for a long period of time. So, because again, a lot of players have left. Only the best ones have stayed, obviously.
Are we surprised with Roachdale? Or is it so far just have they played some...
How'd they go?
Lost 2-0 to Moreton Bay
2-0.
At Moreton Bay on a Sunday evening at 5 o'clock at
And
Walter
again,
Park.
Moreton Bay again.
How good is Walters looking? Walters is looking like a massive threat for them up front for Moreton Bay.
Yeah, he does. He looks pretty good.
Their best players in number 6, the Japanese midfielder.
He's been pulling the strings, but I tell you what, Walters to me looks amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those clubs that are struggling in that mid-table look to try and sniff him out.
Brisbane City 2-0 victors at Peninsula Power. 0-2 start for Penn Power.
It's a good result. Good result.
Good result.
Travelling to AJ Kelly Park. It's a good result.
Not conceding a goal yet in 2 games for Brisbane City.
No, well,
1-0, 2-0 wins. Wins are wins.
The defence was pretty questionable for the 2 goals at Penn Power. So they're going to have a serious hard look at themselves about that. But again, 2-0.
Brisbane City to me are a top 4 team. I think we had them in our top 4.
I
all
had
of
them in
us.
my top 4.
They were in my top 4.
I can't remember my top 4 now.
Oh, we'll find it.
And I think the big thing with Brisbane City though is Dodsy's got them playing well. See Masuasi get on the score sheet.
Yes.
He'll score goals. He'll probably score 10 or so goals this year anyway. That's just what he'll do, and he'll be given that creative license like he has been given here at Knights before. But I don't know, Power, like when you look at the top 4 from last year are 7th, 8th, 10th and 12th out of 12 teams.
Yeah, well, I was going to go into that, but before we do that, Ballinger Park,
Still
7 o'clock on a Saturday. Where else would you rather be?
Very
the
early.
Lions were there, 1-1, 95th
How good
minute.
did that look?
95th.
Ballinger Park looked outstanding.
Yeah.
Looked like Wembley.
Yeah, Field's good.
Told you they've done a lot of work to it.
Yeah, but Lions are Lions. Lions at the death. If they're allowed to play 102 minutes, they'll sniff out a goal.
Is that 2 draws for them?
2 draws.
Beginning of the season.
Jesse Rigby, great goal.
Great goal.
Great goal.
So
But you don't shoot, you don't score, right?
Correct.
So
Always
has
put pressure on the
cracked?
goalkeeper.
Yep.
So looking at the table,
Gotta learn that, Christian. Always put pressure on the goalkeeper, mate.
Thanks, Jim.
Just so you know, Jimmy's stats in the dugouts for the senior men's team is not good. I think it's
I wasn't the coach, I'll tell you.
0-3. Is
I
it?
wasn't the coach. I wasn't the coach.
It's not good.
Dark days, I forget that.
Dark days, yeah.
I blanketed those years out of my
That's
mind.
right.
The league standings, Moreton Bay top of the tree, 6 points from 6.
Go the Jets.
Brisbane City matching them with 6 points as well. In the top 4, Gold Coast United on
The
4
Gladiators.
points, Redlands on 4 points, and then Wanderers close behind on 4. We sit in that middle pack with 3 points. And then, as you said, bottom of the table at the moment, Roachdale and Peninsula Power in the relegation spots with Olympic, Brisbane Royal Youth and Lions close behind. So, as you said, Adrian, the 3 of the top 4, let's include us, all the top 4, 7th, 8th, 10th and 11th.
And 11th.
No one would have expected that, I don't think, at the start of the year.
Look, it's early days. Look, it will obviously even out by round 6, round 7. You should see some of those teams come up the ladder. But you have to look and see Moreton Bay are playing some phenomenal football. Redlands are playing without fear. They've taken maximum points early on in the season. And even Gold Coast United, for that matter. You know, we all said that Gold Coast United would be there or thereabouts in that top 4. 4 points in their matchups. There'll be these teams that take the points off them. I just thought, for me, I was expecting definitely more out of Peninsula Power out of the 2 games they played today. I think it's been, Sunny Coast was their first game, and then obviously Brisbane City. So to be fair to Coghlan and the power team up there, they're 2 pretty hard games to kick off the season, but you'd expect more than 0 points from those games.
They have a tough one now looking, before we talk about our game specifically, but they have a Friday night clash against Brisbane Royal Youth, must win.
It has to must win, otherwise, for me, Coghlan's under pressure. You lose Friday night, you're under pressure because you're on 0 points. The teams above you are all going to be on at least 6. So it starts to get a bit interesting.
That would be 3 consecutive home games, followed by another tricky one at home again, Gold Coast United.
Yeah, which is tough, because Coghlan and Grey play very similar football. And if you look at last year when Coghlan was at Logan Lightning still, Logan actually got up against Gold Coast United 1-0.
Very evenly matched teams.
Yeah.
Another big game, Lions versus Brisbane City at Lions.
The Classico, they bill it the Classico. Very big game. And
must win for Lions?
Must win for both of them. Must win for both of them.
Is it a must win for Brisbane City?
I think so,
they
because
have Lions if they lose away from home.
Yeah, but I think it's a must win for them because it sets their season up.
Yeah,
It sets their season up.
No,
is there anything that's a must win at this early in the year?
Like Adrian said, you get into the round 6 and 7s. Like these are the stable games. Like these are the ones that you need to win to make sure you're up there later on the track and not chasing. If you're chasing later on, I think it gets hard. And especially, I think, like, the whole league in itself, like, Moreton Bay sitting at the top last year, they were relegation, they came here and they beat us.
Yep.
Like, I don't think you've got your typical, your Lions, your Olympic, sitting at the top. I think it's fair game, I think, for a lot of teams.
Well, you look at the results. Okay, the Derby 3-0, 2-1, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 2-0, 0-0, 2-0, 1-1.
I think it's fair game. I think it's fair game in every game.
No floggings.
I think every game's going to be a battle. Like, I don't think there's going to be something where you can walk
Unless
in
we
and be
score
like,
in the first 20 minutes.
No, exactly. Well,
We score in the first 20, it might be a different story. But another game there, Rochedale Redlands. You'd have to think Rochedale would need to want to get their season kicked off, obviously competing against each other last year in the QPL.
Redlands go to 9 points after this weekend.
It's a grand final replay.
Grand final.
I'm going
Rochedale.
Rochedale get a win.
No, I think Redlands put 3.
I think Graham Harvey and John Souter are doing
Unbelievable
a great job. They've picked up that club from like it was on its knees, and Graham's gone in as technical director, and John Souter's come in and helped him as an assistant coach. And I think they're pulling the strings really well.
If you listen to their post-match chat and the way that they talk about their team and the camaraderie and the mateship in that team, there's something special in that Redlands side that I think every team needs to take notice of, because that's a team that is working off the same influences of that Lions, that real, institutional type, labour till the ends. Everyone's going to write you off. Everyone wants to beat you. For me, they win 2 or 3-0.
Rochedale with 3 points for me. Gold Coast United versus Eastern Suburbs at Coplix.
I think United get up at Coplix. I think it's a tough one there for East to get to.
Yeah, I just don't think they have enough firepower at this particular moment. They're relying on...
They beat Lions 5-3 3 weeks ago.
That's what I was going to say. Like, what's, it's big.
They haven't got... From what I saw, I don't know if there was any injuries. Yeah, but...
What about our capacity to stop that?
Sorry?
What about our capacity to stop their ability to fire?
No, they just didn't have anything there at all.
I
They had some busy midfielders.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I didn't rate them either, Mark, on the final third. I thought we controlled the game well in that sense. But yeah, I think the midfield's busy. But, again, Pittick scores, and Pittick's hard. Once if Pittick goes up against you and he's got that lead, it's very seldom can you get 3 points after that, because he just structures that defence. They're all behind the ball. They toil. Gold Coast United toil. The Blake Thompson that they put in those yards, they make it difficult. He's picked up some quality in those squads now as well. So I don't see anything but a win for United on the weekend.
And then a Sunday night thriller, 6 o'clock at Ballinger Park. Sunny Coast Wanderers versus Olympic. Do Olympic go 0-3?
0-3.
Birds are chirping. Telephone calls are being made
For coaching,
for coaching. Yes.
I'm not surprised.
Listen,
That's not a bad squad Brownlee's
any
put together.
drastic changes after 2 games need to have a good hard look at yourself.
Well,
That's a
If-
team that's had a full churn just about. With
can I say?
Hang on,
a-
What can I say?
The
No, it's a full
lineup
churn.
at Olympic
Full churn.
is not a bad squad. Yes, it's a full churn, but at the same time, there's still players
They did
from
play
that.
with 10 men for 60 minutes the first game of the year.
Too bad.
At
So
more
we
away.
played with 9.
And
And we lost 3-0.
Yeah, that's
And?
right.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
But
to
we're
say
not.
that you're going to write...
Brisbane Roar with 9 players.
Yeah, but to say that you're going to write a team off and that...
No, he's not saying he's writing the
Writing
team
anyone
off. He's saying
I've
there's
just said
pressure on
the
the
birds
coach.
are chirping. The birds are chirping.
Birds chirp at 5:30 every morning on my place and they'll wake me up as an alarm clock.
Maybe.
You
Are they
can't-
magpies?
with the squad that
well be.
with the squad that Olympic have. That's not a bad squad that Brownlee's assembled. To be fair, it's actually a decent squad. You go 0-3. I don't think that's acceptable for a team like Olympic, when others like East and others are and Redlands. Is the Redlands lineup stronger than Olympics?
No.
Is it correct?
Did they change much?
They've
Last
changed.
year?
They've changed. Yeah, a lot. But you've still got Leck's still there.
Yeah, but...
Lyndon Farr's there.
No, Redlands. Did Redlands
Oh,
change
Red.
from coming
Yeah.
up?
Well,
I actually don't know.
I'm not
privy to
entirely
be fair.
sure.
Yeah.
But
I just look at Olympic though. You go from one institution of 4 years to then take key players away, key coaching staff, complete churn. You got to give them time.
I
You gotta give the coach
don't
time.
think they should be top of the ladder. I'm not saying that top of the ladder or nothing is good, is acceptable. I'm saying with the squad that Brownlee's got, they should be better than where they're at right now. I don't think they've played convincing football to suggest that they've been hard done by, is my view.
Fair enough. Looking at the game here at the Croatian Sports Centre, Moreton Bay in form. 2 weeks
Top of the
from
ladder,
today.
mate. Top of the ladder.
Top of the league coming to the Croatian Sports Centre. Kristian, you mentioned it. They won last year when relegation scrap. Got the better of us that night. Overall, I know you guys will be well prepared. The staff will have you guys prepared. Scott will have you ready to go. Looking forward to the match. Obviously, the little key additions that they've got as well, but always know you're going to come up against a good fight.
Yeah, look, I mean, every game's going to be hard, but bottom line is you go out to win games. So no matter what it is, no matter the set pieces, no matter the way we play, at the end of the day, we got to fight and we got to win. Like that's bottom line. Everything, the way we play and things that comes. But like I said, we score early. I think we go on and do them. That's just my thought, and that's what I think. But look, at the end of the day, I think it comes down to everyone running, everyone playing together, and we'll go from there.
Jimmy, Moreton Bay,
Uh,
tough.
No, I don't think so. I think we just kick on from here. I think we were really, really solid last week. I think it's going to be boys versus men, in all honesty, on Saturday. I just don't think we don't drop a single point for the next 4 or 5 games. I don't think.
Broke the ice at the end of the day. You get a little bit of pressure. And when
Different
you,
buzz though, isn't it?
Everyone was so eager to get that one goal once that one goal broke. It's just kind of like a weight, even though some boys may feel it, some might not, but it is like there's a weight that just releases from you, and now you just go and play. Like that's the biggest thing. You play with no pressure, and you
Structurally,
go,
we
and do your own
were
thing.
sound. I don't think they actually had one shot on goal.
They did. East.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's
Josh
two.
made a good key save
When?
there.
Josh made a key save. Yeah.
Oh,
What
one
was that
save,
one?
yeah.
Were you getting a hot dog at that time?
Were you at the pleasure? You actually, he was. I got a photo. He was in the canteen line.
There you go.
He was in the canteen
No,
line. Yeah.
the
He was
burger
asking
chirp.
me.
Double hot dogs, one
Does he
each
get
hand.
tomato sauce or just mustard?
I
I
thought it was
said,
one in
mate,
each hand.
it could have been.
Sausage in each.
That's it.
Should have been.
Adrian, your view of the Moreton Bay upcoming?
I just think that the environment in the first team at the moment is one that is a lot more relaxed than what it was leading into the Gold Coast Derby. I feel that the boys are now a little bit settled. I think Scott has settled as well. That jumpiness is sort of starting to subside, and I think 3 points at the Croatian Sports Centre is so important for the team on the weekend. And this game on the weekend sets our season up. That's how I view it, and I agree. I think we've got a couple of rounds coming up ahead of us where maximum points are critical for our run up that ladder.
Hopefully some bodies coming back as well from injury. We won't talk too much, but there should be some faces slowly.
We should be full strength, shouldn't we?
I think we're all but full strength from what I understand. So I think we'll see how that plays out.
No, interesting. Another point noting, it's a big Super Saturday, almost like the NRL Super Saturdays. Here at the Croatian Sports Centre, you've got the first team playing as well as the 23s, and also the FQPL3 women in the Kappa Super Cup taking on Runaway Bay in their second round. The girls just...
So I was supposed to get Amy to join us with Kristian, but she couldn't make it. But next week we're going to get one of the girls in, so Amy's going to help me with that. But the girls
should be a great evening for everyone at the club. You know, first team boys stick around, watch the ladies kick on, hopefully get a win, and start to build that club camaraderie and culture.
So it's a Kappa Cup for the girls.
Kappa Super Cup, yeah. And I believe their season starts either
following week.
Yeah. Monday nights.
And then obviously our FQPL3 boys kick off their second game. They're away
to Runaway Bay last week here at home, up 1-0.
Talk to me about their fixture last week. What happened here? What was going on?
Jim?
What happened?
I wasn't here. I had date night.
What happened? Did we lose?
You had date night.
Yeah.
Date night.
You had
My
date
God.
night.
Unbelievable.
How was it? Apparently, the crowd was electric.
Yeah, the crowd was really good.
Bongos,
It was quite a different type of crowd.
Yeah, 'cause that's
in all
the South
honesty, it was
Coast
very
crowd.
tribal. It was going back to the sort of 90s and 80s type of feel. People on the terrace, shouting and
Yelling abuse.
carrying on, and yelling abuse. I'm not going to say that, but they were saying some, not
Unsavoury things.
I wouldn't. But they were, pretty much it was male-orientated terrace on top there. It was full on. They brought some drums with them and all that sort of stuff, and they were just, they were beating it out and all that sort of stuff. So it was...
Beating the Gold Coast Knights. That's how they look at it, though. These teams don't look at it
They love
as
it. They love it.
FQPL3. They look at we beat the
They love
Knights.
it.
Yeah, correct.
That's what it is.
We came to the Sports Centre.
It's tribal.
And beat the Knights.
So
It's
what happened was it was 1-1 at half time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mehic with the goal.
Ficky scored. You did predict that, Bubba Venga. Well done.
Again, Bubba Venga.
Yeah.
With that league, that is the league. Mind you, I'd struggle to get results from that.
Who won? Someone won 7-0.
Musgrave Mustangs.
Did they win 7-0?
Beat
I
the
love
Flying
Musgrave.
Narang Eagles.
No. What's going on with Narang?
I can't tell you. I don't know.
Cheech, we've got to go back there.
Who knows? Who knows?
I feel like they need some liberating.
But
I just think, again,
I'd
as
be
we've talked
bounced back
about,
game.
the last year and a half here on the pod, this new system, this new pyramid system,
I love it.
is going to find out a lot of clubs. Yeah,
I love it.
and there's not going to be a lot of clubs standing. I can say that.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, it's what it is. The only thing is that if that happens, then we need to support. We need to support because we don't want rugby league or union taking our fields. It's pretty simple.
Well said.
So we're playing Willowburn in the women's on Sunday, is it?
No.
No? Who are we playing Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
It's Willowburn. No, Bay is the league game.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting confused.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's
That's what
Willowburn.
I couldn't work out what you're saying.
We're playing Willowburn.
My apologies, everyone. That's not because of my
From
lack of...
Toowoomba.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Magpies.
pod listeners,
The Magpies from
Yes.
That's
Toowoomba.
because they're black and white, and
Yes,
we
you
have Runaway Bay
got
coming up, and I'm looking at the future
correct.
fixtures.
That's why when you were flapping your gums there, I thought, what's going on
Sorry,
here?
that's my lack of preparation.
Yeah, so-
I might face this.
Pathetic.
Yes, absolutely pathetic. We've
Pathetic.
gone
It's
to
not
the...
that I'm not keeping an eye on what's up to date with our club.
Absolutely you're not.
It's just a matter of...
You know exactly the stats for LeBron James.
That's right.
The last 2 weeks.
Exactly. But I think the girls. Let's talk about the Kappa Super Cup. So obviously the boys are in a bit of a hiatus while the league's kicking off. Australia Cup's about to come into play.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of midweek games coming up as well.
Pro
So
Series games.
yeah,
Kappa
Kappa
Pro
Pro.
Series.
You've got
Nice
the
trip to
this and
Ipswich on
that.
Friday night. Can't wait for that one.
Is that who's in Ipswich?
Western Pride.
Western Pride. So we've got to
Pride
go.
on a Friday night, the Kappa Pro Series.
Is our group games home and away?
Yeah.
Is it Wednesday?
it?
Pretty sure
Oh,
it's
no,
Wednesday night.
just whatever.
Okay.
Whatever the fixture.
Might be midweek. Wednesday night at Ipswich. Christian
That'd be good. That'd be good Wednesday night.
Briggs Park. Briggs Park. It's a good setup.
Great
Good field.
setup.
I'll see you there on a
Are
Wednesday.
they in the NSD? Did they put a bid?
I think I did see their logo there.
We can talk about the NSD.
I did see their logo.
Okay. That's good. No, we know. All right, there you go.
Do you want to talk about NSD?
No.
We'll get
I mean,
there.
you're waiting. You're
yet.
waiting for the intro.
They still got other
What else
things
do you
to
want to
talk
talk Jim?
Well,
NSD is
Well,
the
I'd just
hot
like
topic.
to, I'd like to, a special mention to Baba Yaga here on my right-hand side, who, I don't know how he's done it, but he's broken the 61 competitive,
yes, I brought
the winning games of Lions, the Lionesses.
The Lionesses.
At Lions.
Fantastic achievement. for
No,
the
they won it at Heath Hunt Park.
No, they lost.
No, they lost there.
Yeah, they lost there. They're 61,
61
that was it.
games.
Done.
That's it.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
It's a lot of. Look, our girls will go on a 62 game run now.
That's
Of the
gonna be-
pyramid?
Isn't that the
We
benchmark?
hope so.
But isn't that the benchmark?
Look, you have to look at the girls. But do you see was it the third goal that East scored? Holy! It's goal of the week.
Cracker.
It is
Goal of the
goal
month. Goal of the month.
goal
Goal
of
of
the
last
year.
3 years.
Can we just give her the trophy?
Three
now?
years.
Can someone call Cavalucci and just give her the bloody trophy?
Unbelievable.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's going on with Rob? Is he sacked? Not
No,
sacked.
he's not sacked. Come on.
Another week. All right.
One more week for Rob. And hey, what about your favourite, your under-20 Asian Cup? The boys getting through on goal difference, eh?
We're back.
Mate,
Put on the green and gold.
let me tell you
Put it back. Get it out of
about
the
our
cupboard.
young Socceroos.
Get it out of the
9-1
cupboard. Get the
against Qatar.
mothballs out.
Let me
9-1
tell
against
you,
Qatar.
was it, there was 4 teams in a group and 3 were all on 6 points.
Well, hey,
I think they were all as hopeless as each other in the end, yeah? Was it Iran? Who was it? Iran, Qatar? No, Iran, Australia and Vietnam.
win
Was it?
tournaments.
Qatar.
defences.
Qatar.
Terrible defence.
Qatar.
Was Qatar third?
Qatar was last. That's
No,
what
Vietnam,
Yeah.
Vietnam, Australia and Iran were the top 3 teams, but only Iran and Australia go through.
Correct.
Which is good. I think, look, we need more of that to occur, and obviously a bit of a shout out to Keegan Jelicic as well, ex-NPL,
Yeah, fantastic
Olympic FC, getting called up to the young Socceroos.
Fantastic achievement.
Ollie
Which is
Roos, yeah.
phenomenal. Ollie Roos. Actually, you're right.
Ollie
Ollie
Roos,
Roos.
yeah.
Ollie
Ollie
Roos.
Roos.
Yep. Where are they going? They're playing somewhere. Where's the tournament?
I could not
It's
tell
somewhere.
Uzbekistan.
It is Uzbekistan. You're right. So I think it'll be good exposure for him. And no, it's good. It's good. Look, good to see the younger team do well. Obviously, it's an important tournament. We need players like that at the highest level. We need our Socceroos playing at higher levels and being exposed to that environment outside of Australia.
Someone actually came back and said the Socceroos are playing England in Wembley, and it's the Socceroos.
Yeah,
what I
there you go.
thought.
Yeah, which is good. You know, we're starting to get those players through. But I think the big thing for us also now is, you know, dovetailing into the NSD. If this NSD does get up, there has to be. It mustn't be a missed opportunity, because there are other boys like a Kristian, for argument's sake. Not that he's here, but like Kristians that are hovering in this NPL environment that haven't really been given an opportunity to excel at that higher level. For whatever reason, and there are a lot of people that will talk about, you know, the recycle bin, you know, players like Topwell Stanley comes to mind for me. That's changed 1,500 clubs. Who else has got the A-League kit wardrobe? Wilkinson.
Odegaard.
Yeah, so there's a few of those, which is sad because, you know, there is quality in the NPL that should be getting a go.
Like, seeing Keegan go, like, it's good because at the end of the day, like, it shows you that it can happen, but I just think there's got to be more of it. Like, you know, one every now and again, I don't think is enough. Like,
But
this way, I think it opens it up. Like, you know, he went from playing, you know, against us last year to now being on an international stage. Like,
Yeah.
and that's happened within that's not even a year. Like, that's
No,
how
it's- you're
fast
right.
a
It's not
player
even a year.
that's how fast it can go for a player.
One
Like,
opportunity, you can see that.
you know, that's amazing to see. And if that opens up, the NSD opens that up, you know, overseas pathways, and you get more Aussies out there. Like, I don't think there's enough overseas right now.
No.
Fair call.
Absolutely.
Talking about NSD, we read 23 clubs when the submissions closed. Then they came to 32 applications.
37.
37.
No, it's 32.
32, but yeah, multiple clubs in one.
Multiple
Yes.
But I'm not sure. I thought there was a tight deadline, but obviously there wasn't. So let's look at those 32 clubs briefly. ACT, you got Canberra, Croatia, Gungahlin United. In New South Wales, RPA Leichhardt, Blacktown City, Fraser Park, Marconi Stallions, Rockdale Linden, Sutherland Sharks / Cronulla Sharks, Sydney Olympic, Sydney United, Wollongong Wolves, and Valentine FC in Northern New South Wales. In Western Australia, Spurwood Dalmatinas and / Cockburn City. In Victoria, Avondale, Bentley, Brunswick, Juventus, Green Gully, Heidelberg United, Melbourne Knights, South Melbourne and Preston Lions. go have a look at Preston Lions home games if you want to see a sight to behold. Tasmania, South Hobart. In South Australia, Adelaide City, Playford City and Football SA. And in Queensland, Brisbane United, which we know is a multiple clubs joined together with Strikers, Wolves, Virginia, I believe, in the mix there. Brisbane City, Olympic FC, Penn Power, Sunny Coast, Gold Coast United and Gold Coast Knights. So an interesting list there, Adrian. Look, let's not leave ourselves out of it. Are there any of those clubs that you believe would be not guarantee locks, but need to be key pillars in the second division for it to go ahead effectively?
Yeah, I do. I think when you look at that list that you've just read out, Mark, you've got obviously South Melbourne are a lock. Melbourne Knights are a lock. Who else we've got? I'd like to see Apia Leichhardt become a lock. From there, from New South Wales. I think Wollongong Wolves are a lock. You know, you look. I don't know about Tasmania. I don't know about the strength of the Tasmanian bid. I don't know how I feel about that just yet, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a second. But I just feel that a lot of water needs to go under the bridge to understand fees and costs and player arrangements and player union and infrastructure, marketing, all those sort of things. So, of course, it's lovely to see so many teams, including ourselves, participate in this official process. But realistically, we're talking about this season starting this time next year. Is it enough time? That's the next point.
I don't think so.
You know, and that's a valid question we should ask ourselves. Like, my concern is that the NSD shouldn't be hijacked by old NSL clubs for their relevance. I can see the need for an NSD. Like, I support an NSD because I think the A-League's been a failed project on for a number of reasons, and has failed largely across a number of metrics. And we go back to some of these players in NPL land that are getting missed, that are going through their prime years of their life. And I reference Kristian as one player, for argument's sake, that are going through the prime years of their life and just will not make an A-League team without having to do something so super special, or unless it's the unfortunate outcome of some injury. And I think the NSD puts us on a platform now that will allow the Kristians of the world to have an opportunity and give them that greater exposure. But I feel, and I know I'm waffling now, but I feel that we just have to make sure that if we kick off the NSD, that a team from South Australia, or Queensland for that matter, doesn't pull out halfway through. If that happens due to financial issues, or you know, the realisation that a sponsor didn't come through on the 300 grand that was promised, it would be catastrophic, in my view, to the integrity of the league. And how do we safeguard that?
How do you mitigate that, though? You can't mitigate the professional sport, right?
You can't.
You see professional football teams going to administration and all the rest of it. But again, is Australia, the question has got to be asked, is Australia too big? Is Australia too far-fetched, that those trips that you need to fly everywhere? Essentially, we're asking, if Gold Coast Knights were to get a team, we're asking players every second weekend for majority of the season, forget the other Queensland teams, to fly for games, correct? As players that potentially might be their full-time job if they're a full professional, or potentially have another full-time job that they work their 9 to 5.
Look, it's a valid point. I'm scared about what the outcome looks like, because I just think strategically Gold Coast needs to be involved. So whatever happens, and I've maintained this from day dot, strategically Gold Coast needs to be in the NSD. It's a natural fit for our city. We are a city. It's a natural fit for us. I don't believe, and I've maintained this from the beginning when Gold Coast United shut down, we don't need an A-League team here yet. We need to go on a journey and actually go out of our way to try and unify the football community in the old Gold Coast. And Jimmy raised it offline the other day, and it resonates well with me. The community engagement from our members across, you know, clubland, it's very cut and dry. there's not many people that wish each other well in terms of clubs' successes and all that. Like, you look at the Sunshine Coast, and Jimmy woke me up to this, and it's a valid point. You look at what's going on the Sunshine Coast, and the unity of clubs and you know, the desire for the region to succeed is much stronger than what's going on the Gold Coast. Like, there's not much of that unity, and partly because clubs that have gone before and represented this city have left the others behind. We were bastardised by the A-League process. You know, we were punished as a city by our national team. And I think all of those things need to be identified, you know, and we need answers to those before we commit some serious freight behind it.
Realistically, though, you look at, I'm going to use this as an example only, you look at the Dolphins, Redcliffe Dolphins NRL, who just came into the competition this year, 70 years worth of history, strong backing, a leagues club, they have a history in coming into the NRL, have established a member base already naturally. It's obviously difficult when you're coming in using Gold Coast United in the A-League to just say, oh, here's a team now, go support it, when these people have been, you know, that it's come from nothing. So yes, Gold Coast Knights have history. You know, a lot of these clubs, as we mentioned, have a lot of history. But as you said, Adrian, history can take you so far. And at the end of the day, it's a matter of bringing across the wider Gold Coast community for the journey. Kristian, from a player's perspective, though, the NSD must be exciting. It must give you some form of, you know, excitement, I guess, like excited to be part of that you know, that Knights are being part of that process and hearing the chirp and watching that whole thing progress.
No, well, like I said, it puts you on a stage across everything, you know. So if that's putting you more of a platform to get into the A-League so that you can keep on bouncing onwards, if that's playing in front of your local community and things like that, in front of more people, I mean that's great, and it's exciting personally as well. Like Adrian said, you know, I've bounced around, and other boys have bounced around different cities, different countries. But you know, at the end of the day, we're here together now. Like, it's exciting, but you know, again, like there's just, like we said, there's a whole bunch of logistics which have got to be worked out first from a league point of view, from a community point of view, and then from a player point of view. So look, at the end of the day, for me, I'm so excited, but the way it plays out, you know, I'll be waiting and I'll be ready. So I think a lot of boys are ready for it.
Jimmy? Any further comments since, you know, more teams have confirmed and more EOIs have been put in?
Listen, I just think it's too early to make predictions and think about what's going to happen and if it's going to happen. I just think that there's a lot of unanswered questions at this particular moment. Yes, you know, they want us to validate our expressions of interest in this process. Yeah, we've done that. We've given them $5,000. So what is that going to give us now? Well, we don't have anything concrete. We don't have any understanding of what it's going to look like, what the structures are going to look like, how it's all going to get paid for, etc., etc. So until all these questions get answered, I'd just rather concentrate on what we're doing at this particular moment as a club, moving forward and building our club, having as many community engagements within our region as possible, try and have great relationships with other clubs. If we can do that, then hopefully if this comes to relevance, comes to fruition, then we'll have a sort of member base where we can actually start addressing it and going, right, well, we have now maybe 2, 3, 4, 5,000 members within our community that are really interested in buying into this thought process, you know, because all it is a thought process at the moment. It's nothing else, you know. It's not a football club. It's nothing. It's just an idea. That's all it is. So until we get some real reasoning behind it and real answers, then I'm just concentrating on building a football club at the moment.
Adrian, do we have a rough timeline? Any more scope after the application we put in? When can we expect sort of first phase answers, second phase? Any?
Look, we obviously submitted the bid last Friday was the due date. So I think Football Australia will be buoyed, like we all are as a football community nationwide, to see so much interest in it. I don't know when we are due to hear back from Football Australia. I think that's a matter for them to determine. But I think the big thing for us is to work out from here now, you know, what sort of questions we want as a region answered, and how that looks for us.
But I also, sorry to interrupt, I also think that it can't be just one rule for the Melbourne clubs and the Sydney clubs that applies to Brisbane or Gold Coast clubs or Adelaide clubs. We live in a totally different region. We live in totally different political football issues and problems. They don't. You know, they have a 50 or 100 year relevance. You know, we don't at this particular moment. So for me, it needs to be looked at strategically, region by region. What does it look like? How can we actually ignite this idea? How can we get everyone on board with this idea? You know, we're not a South Melbourne Hellas, or we're not a Heidelberg. You know, Preston Lions. Yeah, we're not a Melbourne Knights.
It would be phenomenal to see Preston Lions enter the NSD. Absolutely.
Look at the attendance. They've got a higher attendance than most of the A-League.
Yeah.
There you go.
Go do yourself a favour if you haven't.
But again, it's a total different thought process there in Melbourne. Yeah, it's a totally different demographics over there in Melbourne than it is here. So what applies to the teams in Melbourne and in Sydney not necessarily apply here to the Gold Coast and to the teams in Brisbane.
It makes it tough though in a national.
Yeah, of course it does. But that's what I'm saying to you. The rules of how they want to form this, you know, it needs to be applicable for particular regions. Otherwise, it won't work. And you've seen it already with an A-League bid that we had here with Gold Coast United. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because we didn't gravitate everyone together. We just said, no, this is who we are. You need to support us. Well, 1 minute, that doesn't work like that. You need to get community engagement. You need to have everyone on board in some way, shape, or form.
Or it will fail.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
It fails.
It's too tribal here, first and foremost. Yeah, and it's still too tribal. You saw it here on Friday night. You know, Runaway Bay versus Gold Coast Knights. QPL 3. We're not talking about QPL 2, QPL 1, yeah, or MPL. We're talking about QPL 3, yeah, and they wanted to kill each other out there.
So where does it move next? Like, so I think they said 24th of March they want this thing to kick off. You know, just
so
a medical date. You
know.
Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, it looks like there's no timeline.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic idea. Don't get me wrong. It's a great idea, and
it's a great way to further develop. Yeah, further develop player paths.
But we need to do it in a manner that no one fails.
Yeah,
we can't fail on this.
Yeah, I agree. For me, that's my biggest fear outside of the money component. My biggest fear is you kick the league off. Like, let's say you kick off, and you get to round 6, and all of a sudden, South Hobart goes, look, our sponsor didn't come through. It's not working out for us. We either need to be bailed out or we can't continue.
But how many teams have been bailed out in professional sport in Australia, in the NRL, AFL, A-League?
AFL, every year. Gold Coast Sun's got $21.6 million from AFL.
We know they obviously have broadcast deals and all the rest of it, but Adrian, is there any scope that the FA would provide a
Absolutely
fund?
Not. Absolutely not. They won't.
So this is basically fund it yourself?
Fund it yourself. That's what it's going to be, 100%. The concern and what some of the clubs are raising now, which is a valid point to raise, is all of these administrative costs and licence fees are unnecessary. If the FA make it a closed shop for 12 clubs, why do the fees for the licensing have to be so extravagant when that money can be better served on player wages or club infrastructure or travel or whatever the clubs need for it to work?
Well, interesting times ahead. I guess the most interesting thing at this point in time and everything is 5:15 Saturday evening, Gold Coast Knights versus Moreton Bay United in the MPL, followed by Gold Coast Knights versus Willowburn in the Kappa Women's Super Cup, kicking off straight after 7:30 kickoff here at the Creation Sports Centre. Again, Friday night, Mullawa Park, our QPL 3 lads go and take on Palm Beach down at Mullawa, so best of luck to those as well. And again...
What's the score prediction there? What are we expecting? How did Palmy go in their first game?
They won 2-0 against Murwillumbah, but much different Palm Beach team to previous years under Brett Budwee. So the boys should be in for a win, I think.
You're predicting a win?
Can you imagine what it's going to look like Friday night down at Mullawa?
You're going to be there with a Merlin's Pizza?
Talking about tribal.
Yeah.
Merlin's Pizza in hand?
Yes. Sorry?
Will it be a Merlin's Pizza in hand?
Cheech.
Capricciosa.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that. extra anchovies.
I don't think so.
All right, so let's go score predictions. Score
all right,
predictions.
it's like flip a coin.
No, hang on. Score predictions against Moreton Bay first. Let's go.
2-0 comfortable.
2-0 comfortable. Mark?
3-0.
I agree with Jimmy. 2-0.
4-0.
I was going to go 4.
I'm going 4-0.
It's good.
I think we score early.
It's good.
I think we score early. The boys play
good.
with unbridled confidence, and I think we run away with it, and we overawe Moreton Bay.
Women's Super Cup.
Burn. All right, Women's Super Cup.
8-0.
7-0.
7.
I'll take 10 plus.
10
I
plus.
didn't even know what we're coming up against. It could be anything. 10.
I said 7.
8-0.
8-0.
Well, you guys are 7 and 8. I'm going
7.
10. You're saying, oh wow, 10.
All right, boys.
All I know is that when we get through this tie, yeah, we are all getting in a bus and we are all going to Olympic. The Goodwin
Assuming Olympic beat there.
That is correct.
Yeah, well, that's true, yeah. I suppose you're right.
One round out at a time,
Free
Cheech.
passage.
You already wanting to engrave the trophy, Cheech.
Yeah, I just
Us
make-
against Lions.
Us against Lions.
And then you want us to predict what's the next one?
The next one, FQPL 3. Score. Give me a Friday night
Christian's
score.
never seen an FQPL 3 South.
All right, that's all right. You've got to guess.
So, pretty guess. 3-1.
To who?
Us. Win.
Jimmy.
2-2.
I was going to predict the
I was
draw.
gonna go draw.
I'm going 1-1.
2-2.
1-1. You, Mark?
Oh, I got to be careful because I get slaughtered if I say anything.
Well, why? Say. This is a pod, mate. You're
Two
the
all.
microphone protects you.
2-2 and 2 red cards.
Have some faith.
There's definitely a red.
Back the boys.
There's definitely a red.
I
I
agree
didn't
with
say it's
that.
ours.
There's
I'm just
definitely a
saying
red in the game.
And someone may get a shower from a beer.
My
Palmy over the top of the bed.
Someone may get showered by a beer.
I look at it and I think to myself, okay, they had 2 season-ending injuries. Palm Beach,
When? Last week?
yeah, goalkeeper and midfielder
Oh,
torn ACL.
really?
I'm going to give the nod 3-2 to us, but tight. And it wouldn't surprise me. if it's the other way.
tiger.
Tight.
I'm
Tight,
saying
tight.
1-1.
Well, Christian, thank you. It's been a pleasure to have our first player. Actually, no.
I've got questions for Christian.
I actually thought of this when coming here. I wanted to ask Christian a few questions,
Yeah,
just
go.
to lighten up the mood a little bit. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're also serious here. And
Very.
placid.
Well, we've just
Christian,
resolved world peace, mate.
You're going to take us into the first team dressing room, and I'm going to fire off some rapid questions at you that I haven't even thought of. That I'm just going to think
The
of.
fans want to know who was second first, Christian. That's what the fans want to know.
So I'm going to fire off some questions, just off the top of my head. Again, not planned at all. So for those people at home, tell me who's someone in the dressing room. Give me the funniest player in the dressing room. And you can't say yourself in any of these. I take that element out because I hate when I watch like player interviews. You know what I mean? They go, "Who's the funniest?" Oh, I'm the funniest. Like it's annoying. That annoys me.
Who's the funniest?
Funniest.
There's a couple. You can put Packy there because of translation. So he gets lost in translation, which is always funny.
Okay.
Put Tyson up there though.
Oh, he has to be.
Yeah,
Banner,
Tyson's up
but-
there.
He's the best.
Shit banner, but
The funniest.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Tyson? Shit banter,
We're
mate.
gonna have to go.
I hope Tyson's still listening at this stage of the pod. Anyway. Credit to you, Tyson.
does. Tyson goes all
he had
the
a
way.
tear when he heard I was here.
Tyson
so
goes
don't
all-
worry.
I'm
Don't worry.
I'm surprised he might not even shake my hand when I go into there. Say hello.
Well, let's see. Tyson's obviously been out. He took some time off from the game. some forced time off from the game due to unsavoury incidents. But he's back. He's back. So he's available for selection. And,
Off the bench or come
well, let's see. Scott's got a few headaches to choose this week. I think as more players have made themselves available, I think Scott's got some choices to make.
Yep. All right.
Next one.
Best dressed.
Have to be yourself.
You can't choose yourself.
Can't choose
That's
yourself.
the purpose of this
That's-
exercise.
Hard because you come from work. Like
No, but like game day, going out. You guys don't go out, do you? You just sit at home and get better at
Well, I hope so. As the president of the club, I hope they are sitting at home.
No,
and
you
having a
hope
look
they're
around.
out bonding more. That's what you hope for. Good teams.
Aussie always looks pretty sharp.
Aussie looks sharp.
He looks sharp.
Does look sharp.
And it's not hard. It's pretty hard not to look good.
Is Oscar still looking homeless, or is he dressed up?
Yeah,
in
no,
good
he's chugging.
He's struggling?
Chugging through.
He's improving.
Yeah.
Still wearing slides with socks.
No, he's gotten away from that.
Wow. Okay.
Christian,
Got a haircut.
give us a verdict. Pin it.
It's not
Brad's
shelf
not
a day,
bad
let
coming.
me tell you.
Brad's good coming in.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
good.
good.
Yeah,
Right,
he's,
good.
he's a professional.
Were you out? Were you out at Burley Pavilion one night and saw them all? Yeah.
Shelf's not bad.
Cheese.
Shelf
What do you mean?
No,
Shelf?
no,
No.
that's...
Shelley did the worst.
So worst dressed.
Shelley's the worst dressed. Oh, no, Shelley, yeah. In the house, you know about that.
So
I've driven him to his house.
Shelley worst dressed. Christian.
No comment.
All right.
Shout out to Shelley. Love you, mate.
Who whinges the most? Who's the number one whinger?
Packy.
Packy has
Packy.
to be Packy.
Took the worst
He's
one.
Italian, mate. Ciao,
On
vediamo.
Country Mile or?
Yeah. Kingy's up there as well.
Oh yeah, Kingy loves a
Kingy
win.
for a whinge.
Kingy won't speak, but then all of a sudden you'll just...
I was just supposed to say who's the quietest.
And rip your head off.
Quietest?
Kingy's the quietest, but
Makes
then all of a
sense.
sudden you just don't know... These two, like...
Yep.
Two different human beings.
All right. Another one for you. A good one. You can only take 3 teammates to an island. 3. Right? 3 teammates with you to an island. Now, you've got to think of a number of concepts. One, you want to be entertained, but you want to survive, right? So I'm not telling you what's on the island. I've been watching too much Survival.
This is
right?
awesome. This is good. Let's go.
3 teammates. You want survival. There could be animals. There could be other people. You could be barren. You don't know. Who are you taking? Oh, he already knows. There we go.
Oh, look at this.
We can't show
Nothing
this,
to
but
even think.
The
Yeah.
fingers are ready
Fingers
to go.
are
Ready
out.
to
Let's
point.
go.
Aussie,
Why?
pure power. Does everything.
Fair.
Yeah.
Maxi Brown.
Oh yeah. He'll teach you how to surf on the
No,
island.
he'll Swiss Army
He'll teach you how to
knife.
surf on the
We
island.
won't leave the island, we'll live there.
But he's
Yeah,
also-
yeah, correct.
But also
It'll
medically
be a
trained.
holiday.
Medically trained.
He's
That's
medically
what
trained.
it is. Physio,
Good thinking. Yep.
Christian, this is a thoughtful answer. Yep.
Third.
Either Jado or Zhang Yong.
Why?
Wow.
I wouldn't have picked that. I thought you would have taken Tyson Martin. Tyson is going to be disappointed.
Tyson loves luxury.
Oh.
Yeah, he's glamping. He's more glamping.
Tyson
I can see Tyson being glamping.
Danielle, hard work. Just doesn't matter what it
He's
is.
a
He has a good
landscaper.
vibe no matter where he is.
He's going to
Same as
plant
Maxi
the
Brown.
crop. He'll plant the crop.
Jado? Jado for...
Jado wants to go home, so from his point of view, he'll get you out of there.
He'll find a way.
Jado's good.
Panic stations get you out. No problems.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Any other questions you guys can think of? Rapid fire? I like that.
Mario Copyard wants to know who needs to improve. Christian. Shout out to Mario.
Mario's our number one fan.
Yeah.
Mario and Tyson Martin would be the
Mate,
top
listen,
2.
we'll get Mario in here. On a more serious note, don't answer that question. But on a more serious note, who is your smoky this year as a player that you think by the end of the season, forget finals, by the end of the season you're going to turn back and go, wow, that they really grew this year?
Godfrey.
Godfrey. You think Godfrey's got it?
Yep,
Yeah.
I think he does. He's young, ambitious, so fast as anything, and he's just somebody that'll flip a game.
And what a great guy. Just as well.
An amazing man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What a human that Godfrey de Belair is. He is an amazing chat on and off the... Like, I don't know, on the
He's a
field,
school. Firepower like nothing else.
Yeah, great
And
sign.
when he's back from his hammy, unbelievable.
but- Yeah,
Just know it.
fair enough.
Yeah, he'll be a force to reckon with, and I'd love to see him back in the squad this week. I think he'll add another dimension. And you put Godfrey up with Christian, I think defences are going to have a lot of problems trying to work out. You know, you've got Godfrey who loves to run in behind, amazing footballer. Very hard to find strikers that are willing to do that, and obviously Christian's confidence, and even though he's here, give him some more game time, give him that confidence to go and actually take games head on. Obviously, some of the decisions Christian needs to make needs to be a bit smarter. You know, like Lions last year, you know, putting himself in a position to get smashed like that. I think it's a lesson, but I also think at the same time give Christian a defender that he can run at, and you know, games on their head.
Do you feel the same with that, Christian? Like you're just going to take, obviously, game time at the highest level?
Yeah, I think like, you know, it's been an adjustment from the start, you know, since pre-season, but at the end of the day, games are games. Confidence grows, and you know, as we go together, like Adrian said, there's Godfrey and myself. You put Poles in the picture, you know, Poles will whip across, put top corner free kicks. Like he does his job unbelievably, and then you add Packy into the mix. Put Brad in there as well up top. You've got Brendan McMorrow as well. Like
You got options.
you've got
Max Brown.
firepower.
You got options.
You've got
Max Brown's
Brownie as
goals.
well.
Yeah,
You know, that's
A lot of options.
a lot of options.
And unfortunately, we can't play them all.
But there's a lot of games this
A
year.
lot of games, a lot of rotation.
I think what saves
Horses for courses.
I think what saves Scott and keeps the boys at bay, the fact is that there's opportunity now to go far in the Australia Cup, go far in the Kappa Cup, go far in the league. You know, this year, and as seasons gone by have shown us, you know, those teams that perform well in the Australia Cup notoriously don't perform as well in the league.
No one generally doesn't have a deep squad.
You don't have a deep squad.
Yeah.
I think everyone's in for it though. Like, we know as a team that we want to win everything. There's a Kappa Cup you want to win. Even though that's new this year, you want to put another trophy on your shelf, regardless, as a player. You put the Australia Cup in there. Like, again, we've got depth now where we can have midweek games and turn a difference.
How are we going to turn one in the Surf City Cup? Is it Surf City Cup? One Coast Cup? Two Coast Cup?
Coast Cup.
Coast Cup. How are we going to turn around, Kristian?
Win it.
But we're 3-0 down. We need to get 4. Can we get 4?
Yeah.
I think it's a long season.
In the tundra of Copland.
I actually think it's a long season. I actually think those teams that aren't as equipped are going to have to make some decisions on the Kappa Cup. You know, are they going to play a more youthful side? Like, does it matter to you as much?
The only thing about the Kappa Cup that doesn't make sense to me, one team going through in 4 groups, right? If you look at the Kappa Cup groups, one more game in the Kappa Cup, and some teams will have nothing to play for. Like, no possibility to get to win the group. So what team are they going to run out?
I think they'd run their 23s. Why not?
But that's what I mean. So
Why not?
When you play, it's who you play when, right? So we've obviously played 2 NPL teams, well, Brisbane Strikers, one
But
of
they
the top NPL teams.
both put fair teams out. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly, because it's
wanting to have a
pre-season,
crack.
right? So what happens later on though, if they can't make it? That's what I think that they should
Well,
put 2
I
teams
think,
up.
I
in
think
the
they
Kappa
go to
Cup.
what's more important.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if City, for that instance, you know, are running it in the league, I think
They'll
they
go for
probably
the
want to rest
league.
players.
Correct.
You know, but from our point of view, like, I think
It's all in all the
we've
time.
got depth. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, boys need minutes. And
There's
kids get
players.
confidence.
There's players that are starting 11 in the top 4 that won't be even on the team sheet on game day. So that is to manage and triage that squad list for certain games is very important. You've got to triage that list and work out, okay, you know, you're playing a youthful Moreton Bay, so do you stack your team with players that are more aggressive, more physical, you know, put them back in their spot. Then you've got a team like Lions, more a sophisticated, mature team, you know, selections then come into play again. You know, Scott's got ammunition and players that can do different things when they link up, where we have that luxury now. We actually have a luxury to go to Western Pride on a Wednesday night and then back up against the Lions on a Saturday. And not blame the Wednesday night game for having heavy legs.
Agreed.
And that's why, and we'll be here for the whole time to talk about it all and dissect it all. But again, gents, thank you all. Appreciate your time. Kristian, before training, coming in early. Appreciate that. Jimmy, as always, great to see you. We'll hopefully see you at the Croatian Sports Center, 2 hot dogs, Slavko specials.
He was taking a photo. He was asking your opinion what he should eat.
What did you say?
I said to him, get out of there, mate. It's not for you.
Fair enough. How was it, Jim?
How was what?
The hot dog.
Which hot dog are you talking
You
about?
had it
At East.
I didn't have a hot dog.
He
What did you
did.
have?
I had
Hot dog.
I had a burger.
Was it good?
It was average at best.
You've just made
So if you had to compare the burger from 1 to Slavko,
Yep.
where would you sit? Half Slavko?
One is what? Slavko? Or what's Slavko? 10? Or what's
Listen,
Slavko?
Slavko's doing gourmet burgers here Saturday, ladies and gents.
A la
Make
carte
sure you're here.
kitchen
A la carte kitchen is open. Menu is full. Bar is well stocked. Make sure you're here for what will be a Super Saturday.
Special mention to our academy who went to East last weekend on
Actually,
a
we
Sunday,
didn't talk about that.
and we
schedule.
delivered again, which is really pleasing, and we look forward to obviously playing Brisbane Strikers Academy.
we
How did you
Strikers.
go? Tell us about your Galactico 16s. Did you win?
Yes,
What was the score?
3-2.
How'd you cop 2 goals?
Leaky,
Transitional.
Transition.
All I hear
pretty
is
bad.
transition.
It is. We're,
Start defending, then lock it up.
we're pretty bad at transition because we're
Are you working
full on
it?
attack.
Are you working on it?
Yeah, we are.
Positive. Be positive, mate.
We are positive. 4 out of 5 games we won, which was pleasing.
We just don't talk about Brisbane City, mate. That's as simple as that.
That
We
was
just
a
don't
bad
go there.
week.
That was a bad week.
Dark days. You weren't mentioning
Bad.
that. Special
Can't wait.
mention.
Can't wait for them to come
A
here.
stain on this club's legacy.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you guys as always. It's been another episode of the Coastal Dental Care Nightlife Podcast. Saturday, 5:15, Gold Coast Knights vs Moreton Bay, followed by Gold Coast Knights vs Willowburn in the Kappa Women's Super Cup. And we'll be back next week to talk it all through.
Proudly sponsored by Windex.
There you go. Again, it'll be another episode of Nightlife, and we look forward to another action-packed weekend of football here at the Croatian Sports Centre.